All right, good evening. This is Ken from Tortoise Capital, and this is lesson one, meeting one of the day trading workshop online. This is the agenda we're going to follow for April 3rd, 2016. This is week number one. And so this is going to be the standard format of the lessons that we record each week on Sunday. Now, because we have folks who are attending from Australia, all over the U.S., the U.K., Poland, and Netherlands, there's no one time that fits everybody's schedule, so it's always going to hurt for somebody. So my intention is to have a standard recording on Sunday because that fits my timeline for production and gives a regular pulse to the lessons. And then I'll get those recorded on Sunday evenings and then posted on Sundays. And I'll show you where I post those links so that you'll always be able to access the recorded sessions that I do each week. And what I do in those sessions, this worked pretty well in the swing course, we think. Each week, whoops, I thought it worked good. Yeah. So each week I'm going to, these are the two specials. I'm going to give a course overview, and then I'm going to review the base camp environment. Those are specials because today is week one. But what I will do on each of the standard weekly sessions is I'm going to preview the homework for the week ahead. Okay, so for April 10th, what you've got to do are the following things. If you haven't already, you need to post an introduction to the right board that gives a quick introduction to who you are and what you're all about. I'm going to show you that in a minute. I want you to review this week the Blackboard functionality. That's the course support software that we're using. And you need to be able to be proficient with messaging, write boards, and the files section in order to take full advantage of the course. So I want you to make sure that you can handle all that stuff this week. And if you can't, then send me a note, then we can work through it. I think I have uploaded the system definitions to the Slow Frog and the Quick Frog in the files section. If I haven't, I will before I go to bed. So I want you to read those systems definitions this week. And I want you to notice if you have any questions that come out of the system definitions, then number 5, I want you to note those questions by Saturday on the right board. I'm going to show you where to put that. So what I will do is on Saturday, I will check the list of topics that you have asked me to answer. So that gives you all week to record any questions that you have on the right board by Saturday, and then I will post. I will build that into the session for Sunday. Now, if it's a burning, urgent question, you can always send it to my email or send it when you post it on the right board. I'll be able to see it each day. Sometimes the questions may be of such importance that it will generate an extra lesson or a video, in which case that I'll show you where I post those. So ask your questions as soon as you can, or not later than Saturday. I will use the Saturday question list in order to build the briefing that goes out on Sunday. And then that session historically has gone anywhere from 90 minutes to 2 hours. And I build if it looks like we're going to go over an hour, then I'll put the a 5-minute break in there so that we're not killing ourselves. So post your introductions this week, review the Blackboard functionality that I'm about to show you, read the system definitions on the Slow Frog and the Quick Frog, introduce yourself to your study group members using the Basecamp message function. I'm going to show you how to do that. I have tentatively placed you into study groups, hopefully by geography. We got some wiggle room on that. We can always adjust those groups if we want to. So like I think I've got the Europeans in one group and the Aussies in one group. But if for any reason we want to change those around, we're absolutely free to do that. If you feel like you would rather not be in a study group and just go at a self-paced, for whatever reason, there were a couple guys in the swing trade course who had some business commitments, and so they opted out of the study groups because they didn't feel like they could be good learning partners, just because there was going to be a couple weeks where they weren't available, and so they sort of opted out of that. We just adjusted to that fine. It was no harm, no foul. Just know that all the recordings and all the infrastructure for the courseware, all your comments and the crosstalk is going to be remain available in Basecamp for your review even after the course is over. So my plan is to keep it there at least a year. So there's no hurry on this stuff if life intrudes. So step 4, introduce yourself to your study group members via Basecamp message. Number 5, any questions that come up from this week's homework, please post in the right board that I'm about to show you. Number 6, we used Campfire as our chat function. That's the live chat room where we're doing our daily trading anyway, and I would encourage you to use that during this courseware because you're going to get a lot of questions answered. You'll see me in there. You'll see a lot of your teammates or your course mates will be in there, and you'll just see mostly the day trading portion of what we do. So I would encourage you to give that a try. If you do not have a excuse me, a user ID and password to Campfire, please send me an email to longke@yahoo so I can get you set up on that. I thought I had gotten everybody, but life being what it is, I probably missed somebody. So please send me a note if you don't have Campfire. And then watch the videos. Now I sent out a couple messages at various times during the week. Maybe there may have been some folks that didn't get them all, but these are the videos that I want you to review for this week. I've assigned them on April 3rd. I would like you to have them finished by April 10th. If you had a chance to get these by tonight, you're in good shape. I've added a couple more since the first messaging. And then by April 10th, I also want you to watch these. So you got quite a lot of video work to do. And so what I'm about to do is describe each of these to you so you can prioritize your needs. Okay. So let me, before we get into Basecamp, let me cover these real quick. So first of all, any questions on the homework assignments for this week? If there are, just go ahead and chunk them into the questions. I have everybody on mute because we have so many folks that typically we could never get out of here if we had everybody talking. So I just mute everybody, send questions by the chat box, and then by exception, I'll unmute you if there's something we need to talk about out loud. That gives us a chance to get through these lessons. So if no questions on the homework, or if it comes up later, just go ahead and put them into the question box there. So for the video reviews, the first 5, I debated about sharing these with you because they're actually fairly complex day trading strategies. We're calling this the hybrid frog and trading in the pocket. And this is a technique that we have developed really in the past month. We've gotten very explicit about the rule set, and it incorporates the best ideas, in my view, for both the frog trade framework, which is our very simple minimalist rule set. So it combines the frog and what I think is the best of the RLCO framework. So we have these two different frameworks that we use. Each one of them supports trading on their own, but we found a way to blend those, I think, very effectively. I'm going to show you some numbers. Yes, the RLFF as day trading too, Patrick. Yep. So to get a deep understanding of those things, in my opinion, you probably have to go all the way through this course if you want to answer every detailed question about the background of those systems, the components, where they come from, and all that, the rocket science of it. However, I also think it's possible to be trading those things, to accept the background and the research on trust and look at the results. We'll show you why you might want to do that. And you can learn by doing, either by paper trading or trading along with us, or simulating it on your platform of choice. I just think that these ideas are so strong and so robust that I want you to get exposed to them on day one of this course, so that you can really learn to make them your own over the course of these next 10 weeks. I want to give you the maximum amount of time during the courseware to get exposed to those two ideas, the hybrid frog and the chain trading with the pocket, trading in the pocket, we call it. I just think I owe that to you, because that's the best idea that we have going right now. And I believe that you can learn to pick it up pretty quickly and then supplement your experiential learning with additional homework and stuff as we go. I would rather do that now and start learning it over the next 10 weeks than waiting till the last week of the course and building up to that slowly, because I think you could be trading this thing, within a week and, pay for this course even, right? So that's what the first 5 videos are, and they're fairly short, 10 or 15 minutes each. So trading in the pocket with the hybrid frog. The hybrid frog we're going to cover in detail next week. We're going to look at the hybrid frog and the leapfrog together. This week we're going to look at the slow frog and the quick frog. So we get to the hybrid frog next week, and then we don't get to the RLCO framework until until the 3rd week. So those are the first 5 videos. Now this next one, the 2R battle drill, this is a technique. Now you may have heard me talk before, or maybe not. I look at the world through a lens that has strategies, systems, techniques, and tips. Strategies are broad-based philosophical approaches to the market. We approach it in a certain way with a certain style and try to trade in a certain way. When we render those strategies down to specific rule-based systems that can be robo-traded, then we have refined one aspect of that strategy and made a system out of it. In fact, that's what we did with this trading in the pocket, the owl pattern. We've taken the basic frameworks of the frog and the RLCO and developed a precise set of mechanical rules that will do you no harm. And so that makes that thing a system. It will be a system once we finally turn it into writing in the usual way, but it's just about a system right now. So the 2R the next thing it is, we have components of systems, which I call techniques, and these are like processes or modules or indicators, interpretations that apply to multiple systems. So when I talk about the Zeno stop and how I move to no lose plus dinner for 2, I use that technique in all my trades. I use the 2R battle drill or the Zeno stop in all my trades. So it's a module that I just bolt on to any system that I'm developing. So by learning how to refine that standard practice, I can actually start building systems out of tested components that align with how I believe. In one way, the 551W swing trade system we developed years ago was very much like that. Someone at one of the workshops said, "Hey, Ken, I know you like things that are up for 5 weeks, and I know you like the 5-day down, and I know you like one day of positive momentum so you can buy the next day. Is that a system? Is that the 551 system?" I said, well, if the price allows us to frame a trade on the Williams %R that gives us 2-to-1, then yes, it's the 551W. And we built those little, we built that system out of 4 modules and had a system that we were trading later that day. And it's still one of my bread and butter swing trade patterns. So strategies are broad philosophical approaches, like we plant in the spring, harvest in the fall, and preserve our gains during the winter. That's a strategy. We move to no lose plus dinner for two in order to reduce our psychological stress and protect our seed money. That's a technique. The 551W pattern, this hybrid frog, those are systems because they can be robo-traded. And then finally, the last thing I look at are tips. So strategies, systems, techniques, and tips. Tips are things that are just good things to know, that in like the RSI2 on day charts, when it goes below 10, a single digit RSI2 is quite often a signal for a sharp turnaround moment in large cap stocks. So we've added that to our daily report as a way to just have one little incremental advantage about what tomorrow might bring based on the way today's trade behaved. So that's just a tip. We don't have a system around that. I haven't tested that out separately, but there's enough evidence that that is a useful piece of knowledge that we included in our tips. So the 2R battle drill, I say all that just to say that the 2R battle drill is a description of the Zeno stop, and it really guides how we approach known resistance points. One of the things that you know after you enter is that at some point, it may be on the next bar, or it may be days from now or hours from now, as it approaches resistance, at some point, that price is no longer going to be zooming up. It's going to start hesitating. And you know that you're facing a decision about that has tension in it. It says, should I stay in this trade, or should I exit now, or should I simply move up my stop to lock in most of what I have, but still give it some room to wiggle, or should I take a partial exit to lock in a gain and then manage the rest? Well, every single trade that you make, you're going to face that decision. And so since you know you're going to face that decision, and because we want to face that decision when we have 2R in hand, we call that exit strategy the 2R battle drill. What to do when price starts hesitating at known resistance points. This is the central idea of successful day trading across all these techniques that we're going to talk about, and that is the necessity to be decisive and systematic and routine about the way you exit. I am less concerned about how you get in than I am with how you get out. It's very important that you have an exit strategy in any system that allows you to execute it professionally without sabotaging your mindset, without having excess processing required to make a decision. If you make that decision a very difficult one, then you're quickly going to be exhausted during the day if you're trying to trade the way we trade, which is to seize opportunities, ride them for as long as it's easy, exiting, and then being prepared to re-enter, either to continue or to reverse your initial position. So we know that we're going to face a lot of trading decisions for exiting each day. And so the 2R battle drill is the way that we've made the trade-off between how long to stay and how to get out and when to get back in a way that is very satisfying and which doesn't require me to spend my emotional energy calculating the decision multiple times every day. That would just wear me out. That video takes maybe 10 minutes to watch. It's so important that if you were assigned to my military unit and I could order you to watch it every day for 30 days, then I would order you to do it. I can only suggest that you do that. Everybody that has taken that suggestion has been grateful. It's that important. So that's the 2R battle drill. The next two, 0 state 1 and 0 state 2, also are connected to the psychology of day trading, and they are concerned with how we maintain our emotional resilience, our emotional stability, how we build up our emotional bank account so that we have the will the willpower to trade properly. In my view, there are 4 things that I have to trade properly: time, will, pattern, and money. There has to be enough time left in the day to get the kind of move I want to see. Or the time of day matters on how I make decisions, so time. The will, I have to be in a proper mind state, ready to trade professionally, otherwise I can't take the trade. Time, will, pattern. I have to have a pattern that I have tested and I'm comfortable with and confident with so that I can execute it like a standard play. I don't want to try to invent things in the moment. I only call the plays that I know, that I have a flashcard in my playbook. So time, will, pattern, and then finally money. I have to have money in the account that allows me to have risk capital to continue the trade. If any one of those 4 is missing, I cannot trade. The one that is most variable, the one that is most vulnerable to the market is the will. Because trading can drain your emotional batteries and cause you to do things from emotions rather than from a rational perspective, monitoring your mind state is really important. And so cultivating the zero state is important in my view. And the zero state videos talk about what we mean by zero state, the psychological preparation it takes to trade intraday, how we can get there, how we know when we are there, how to notice when we are drifting out of that, and why it's important. So that's another psychological video. And that is strongly connected to the 2R battle drill, because the 2R battle drill, in my view, allows us to execute routinely at a minimal cost to our emotional bank account. So it's easier to stay in the zero state because you're just executing your rehearsed battle plan. The next one, your action learning journal. This is the way that I suggest that you organize your insights and your aha moments and your reflective learning throughout the duration of the course. Use this when you're debriefing yourself every day, when you're discussing the lessons with your study partner, or if you're reading some of the material I've written, or you're listening to the videos and you get an aha moment. The 4-part learning journal video describes to you the way in which I recommend that you organize your learning for this course. It's the same technique that I use with my military officers at the college and with my consulting clients in executive coaching and with the doctoral students that I teach at Colorado Tech. They all are very favorably responding to that technique, so I invite you to give it a try. There are forms in the file section that you can print out to let you do that. The next 2, the weekend report review for April 2nd, that's simply reading the weekend report in the daily, looking for targets. You should get in the habit of doing that every day, of looking at those reports. That's I rehearse them at night, once every night. I was going to promise to try to do it every day, but I don't know if I can maintain that pace. I'll see if I can. But get used to resetting your mind view, your strategy about the week ahead by listening to and reviewing that weekend report. Now, there are 3 stages that we're going to go through that. Stage 1, Stage 2, and Stage 3. Imagine that. Stage 1 is when I provide you a note sheet and you listen to me reading through the report, and then you notice what I say and you write down the ones that get your attention. In Stage 2, you review the report yourself and come up with your list of targets, and then you compare your list to my list, and then you investigate the difference between them. And that's Stage 2, where you're doing it yourself but then checking against my work. And in Level 3, or Phase 3, is when you are confident enough with the daily report to find the sections that interest you and the particular systems you prefer, and you just focus on those, and you don't need me to read it to you. You can do that work on yourself from the standard set of reports. So our goal during the course is to build from Level 1 all the way up to Level 3. and it starts with a review of this weekend's report. Pardon me. The final thing that I would say is for this video, the Swing Portfolio Update, April 3rd, 2016. I'm going to recommend you listen to that 20-minute video, and only because the techniques that I was using for that advanced swing trading course tended to look very much like this hybrid frog chain and trading in the pocket and the RLCO framework. That the advanced swing trading is adaptive in nature, and so it uses the same techniques that we use intraday, but on the chart patterns that are forming on daily charts and 2-hour charts. And we find that the same patterns and the same approach works just fine in the swing trading. And so this is really just the most recent version of about 20 different symbols that we've been swing trading over the past month. When you look at that, you might kick yourself in the butt for not being in the swing trading, because by my conservative estimate, there's 40 to 50 R that we collected out of those swing trades over the last month. However, I say that just to say, pay attention to the patterns as I describe them on the swing trade portfolio update, and you'll see that they pertain very nicely to the intraday trade. In fact, one of the advantages, in my view, of learning these techniques is that you can apply them across all time frames. Fast swing trading, slow swing trading, intraday trading, combination trading where you're swing trading one day at a time, or you're taking intraday trades and growing them into longer term swing trades. So this is how you get started on that, by listening to the Saturday, my reading of the report from Saturday, and then the update of the portfolio done earlier today. So that's a lot of stuff to do, but you know, this is top shelf stuff. You gotta get on with it. The next set of videos, these also need to be done by April 10th, and that's what these are. Now, the trading is a skill-based activity contributed by our good friend Alex, who's in the course. So thank you, Alex. He did such a nice job on that I couldn't improve on it, so I got his permission to share this with everybody I know. And he has about a 20-minute discussion of his experience in developing proficiency through craft work, learning by doing, as opposed to learning by thinking and then trying to apply it. And he makes a very persuasive argument about why we should just jump right in and start learning by doing, by paper trading forward right away. And that's part of the reason that I've given you the videos on trading in the pocket and the hybrid frog trade and the swing trade portfolio update, so you can see these patterns right now and start grappling with them, and then learn by doing. So an outstanding piece of work from Alex. The goal setting is really a short discussion about how maybe to organize your educational outcomes for this course in conjunction with the learning journal. What makes a good frog candidate is about a 6-minute discussion of how we select particular targets for our frogs. I will tell you, thanks to some work from Tony DeQuick at the last Kansas City Research Weekend, we have a list of frog champions that have historically performed outstanding as frog candidates intraday. In fact, my primary trading target intraday right now is symbol WIN, W-Y-N-N. That's Win Casinos. It was Tony's best frog champion based on his research, and I've been just trading the crap out of it. And it's a very powerful tool. It's a thing that moves 5% intraday in long sweeping moves, and it's perfect for a frog trader. So you'll see a lot of the work that I've been posting in the chat room features WIN. In fact, Charles Howard, who's in here with us now, has been doing a lot of heavy lifting for us in developing the details on the owl pattern, and has been transparent in his trading for the last year. has some pretty impressive numbers from our science project here the last couple of weeks, where he has been hybrid frog trading win exclusively and then using that to turn into a chain trade. And that was really the basis for making these videos up here about trading in the pocket and with the hybrid frog chain, was try to standardize and systematize those insights. So this discussion about what makes a good frog candidate is part of that. It shows other targets periodically become very good candidates for frog trading, and since that's the first system we're going to look at, that's that one. Finding your sweet spot is a little bit of psychology about finding your zone of excellence in there between system, self, and market. The psychology of stalking, about how to think about managing your energy level and your zero state in order to think like a hunter so that you can strike and make the kill in the intraday trade. The daily debriefing is a nice way to organize your end of day trading reflection, so you can go back through the things that you did, organize the insights into sustains and improves. A sustain is something you want to keep doing, or something that you didn't do that you want to make sure you don't do. So you refrained from doing something and that was good. So that's a sustain. An improve would be something that you did that you don't want to do, or something that you want to do but you didn't do. So the daily debriefing video gives you the organized way to approach the daily debriefing that's consistent with Dr. Tharp's daily tasks of trading. Now, this is one that you can elect to watch this week or not. At some point in this course, I really want you to watch this one. So we had about a 2.5 hour monthly coaching session this morning for Team Kieran with Joey, Gil, and Jacek. And they are all trading some form of either the frog or the RLCO patterns or this owl pattern that I've described. And we went through they've been working on this stuff for more than 6 months. And so this is, I think, this is them making some very serious progress in standardizing and professionalizing their trading practice. They have really made some major strides. And I was really impressed with the material that they presented and the discussions that we had. And with their permission, they said it was okay to share that with everybody. So I would recommend that you listen to that at some point to think about some of the human dimensions of sustained performance improvement. Okay, so those are the videos for this week ahead. You got a full plate. Keep track of the things that you do and you don't get done, so you just keep rolling them forward. But these will get us well started. So that's the homework, the specific tasks to accomplish, and then these are the sets of videos that I want you to work your way through and do your best with it to keep going. And the pace will slow up a little bit perhaps as we get going. We'll see. Okay. Now, each week then when we do these Sunday videos, what I'm going to do is go through the agenda. I will be previewing next week's homework like I just did. It won't usually take that long. Any questions that you will have asked, I'll cover. I will scan the commentary in the message traffic that you use in Basecamp as you make, you'll be talking with each other or asking questions in there. I read those discussion boards, and the things that rise to the level of discussion, then I may comment, I may add a comment to the agenda from that. The best practice is for you to review all of the messages from that week that everybody else posts, even if it's outside of your discussion group, because you may gain some insights, and you are free to discuss anything with anybody at any time. Start with your group's messages, but then review other people's stuff as well. So each week I'll give you a preview. I'll talk about anything that I saw that noteworthy in the messages. I'll answer your questions. There may have been some insights for the week that came out of events in the chat room. We may have some discussions in the chat room or a new idea that's worth talking about. As an example, these videos on pocket trading just came up, and then Gil's study on using the parabolic stop and reverse and why that turns out to be a really good exit. It doubled his expectancy on a system that was already performing pretty well. It took a system quality number of 2.3 to 3.4 and doubled his expectancy from 0.16 to 0.30. That ain't bad. Has about a 60% win rate and average win bigger than the average loss. In addition, each week I'm going to take a sample of my trades or trades from the chat room, and I'm going to walk through them. So this week we're studying the slow frog and the quick frog. So this weekend I'm going to show at least 5 trades where I was applying those techniques to my favorite targets. So I'll be showing those case studies as we go. Okay, and if you stay tuned in the chat room, you'll probably see those trades as they're happening, if that's available to you. So the chat room is available to you 24/7, and it maintains a record of everything that's searchable and has a nice archive, and it keeps the case study screenshots. So that's going to be a very useful training resource for you as we go. Okay, so those are the things that I'm going to cover every week. I don't have any of those to cover this week because we haven't started anything. But I'm going to show you the PSAR exit, the exit study, just as an example of why I think you want to, when you put the PSAR in with these trading in the pockets, you already have a system that should be very, very interesting to you. Okay. The other reason to pay attention to these is for those of us that also swing trade, you're going to find that pocket trading and the RLCO framework are directly applicable to swing trading. Okay. That's everything I want to cover on the agenda, the homework review, and the videos. And let me check in with you now to see if there's any questions, because the next thing I want to do are these 2 things. I'm going to go over next what the 10 weeks, what the lessons of each of the next 10 weeks looks like, that weekly theme, if you will. And then I want to review the Basecamp environment to look at messages, write boards, and files. So before I get any further into this, does anybody have any questions on any of that? Anything I've covered so far? And if not, I will take silence as consent. So what I want to do is, okay, we're at 9:16 and we start at 8:30. Okay, this will take me about 10 or 15 minutes to get through these lessons, and then we'll take a short break at about 9:30. So hang in there, because we're doing good. Okay, so we've got this course scheduled for 10 weeks, and this is how I've got the sessions tentatively organized. We can adjust this if we need it, but I think this will work out all right. So this week in session 1, what I'm covering is really just the intro to the course, personal goals and objectives, resources, and the learning journal. In session 2, I'm going to wrap up our learning on the slow frog and the quick frog, and also I guess I would say the intro to the frog. Next week we're going to do the leapfrog and the hybrid frog, and we're also going to take a look at how to read the daily report and work on some of this plan, prepare, execute, and assess. That's the process that we use systematically to get ready for each day. The week after that, we will dip into the RLCO framework. We're going to take a look at the 4 regression lines we use, the 3 sets of Bollinger Bands, and define the 7 patterns that we look for in the RLCO framework by the numbers. In session 5, we're going to come back to that owl pattern, that trading in the pocket and chain trading with the hybrid frog. So session 5 is where we are going to formally answer all the questions that may start occurring to you if you look at these, if you look at those videos that I put in session 1 about the hybrid frog, the chain trading, the trading in the pocket. All of that stuff is where we get to formally by session 5. At the end of session 5, you should have that thing nailed. So this really gives us 5 weeks to nail down those systematic patterns. Starting with session 6, we broaden our scopes a little bit, and we get more into like techniques and some miscellaneous patterns. So we're going to talk about in session 6 swing trading one day at a time. And this is where a lot of us find ourselves, that we have some swing trades that are going on and they're working nice, and we realize, man, this thing is going up during the day faster than the market. I should add to my position in an organized way. So we're going to learn how to do that, to add a turbocharge to our swing trading. We're going to use the swing trade patterns. We're going to look at those targets as especially good candidates for intraday trading. At the same time, that week, we're going to learn how to take good one-day day trades. Let's say we did a frog on something, and it turned out to be really good, and we have reason to believe that that momentum will continue. Then we can convert that intraday trade to an overnight position, and we would maybe want to grow that into a long-term swing trade using markets money. That's a very low-risk idea. In session 7, we're going to look at some techniques here: the morning hook, the WMB3 pattern, the VWAP magnet pattern. These are all opportunity trades that are set up because of our deep understanding of price through the use of the RLCO framework. These are things that we can do to take advantage of recurring patterns. They're not at the level of a system yet. They're more like techniques. In session 8, we're going to learn how to refine our estimates of risk and reward by using the statistics of the normal day, by looking at how I use these indicators of the gap stat, the fail stat, the gain stat, and the fade stat as a way to generate even more ideas for opportunity trading during the day. In session 9, we're going to come back to the daily report once more and ensure that we're very clear on how to read that thing in detail so that you can leave the course with a personalized way of reading that weekend and the daily report to find the candidates that you like to trade. In session number 10, I'm going to wrap up, I think, some thoughts about market classification and what that means for day traders and how to think about it in an organized way. These last 2 sessions, 9 and 10, I have those as tentative lesson plans. It may be that there's some things that we develop along the way that we want more practice on, or there may be some questions and answers from the first 8 sessions that you would like me to address more deeply, and maybe I didn't have time to do it in the first 8 sessions. So sessions 9 and 10 will also act as a catch-all for anything that comes out of sessions 1 through 8, but which still need to be addressed. Okay? So any questions on the general theme of each of the next 10 weeks as we go forward? We'll generally try to follow that pattern. And then the weekend session is going to look like the previous agenda slide that I discussed, where for each one of these weeks there may be a particular insight that I want to share as part of the insights for the week. But at a minimum, each weekend session then is going to have a review of the homework, review of your message traffic, answer any questions you have, insights that came out of the chat room or from the lesson for that week, and then we will also review some of my trades, or even your trades if you like, or trades from the chat room. that came out of our practice. Okay, and then I will always keep the homework listed, and then the videos for the week ahead to review, so you have one place to track all that. Any questions on any of that so far? You guys are doing a great job hanging in there, or you're all asleep, or my internet connection doesn't work and nobody's listened to anything I've said for the last hour. So what I'd like to do, since it is now about 9:30 my time, and we've been going at this for about an hour, let's take a 8-minute break so you can refresh yourself, update your coffee or your soda, whatever you're doing, and we'll get started in 8 minutes with part 2 of tonight, which will be a review of the base camp work area, so that we can see what it is we're working with. Yeah, Terry, I added you to base camp already, and you should be able to edit the right boards to add your personal information. I will get you added on the right board for the study group here shortly. Yeah, I think you and Lisa had a good working relationship there in the swing course, and that lets you and Lisa work together, and Yolanda and Danny both have the European time frame, so we'll do that. Even better, 165. Okay, back. So now what I want to do, we've done the course overview. The only thing that remains now is the Basecamp environment review. And here's what we'll do. I'm thinking about whether or not I've given you too much homework for the first week. That I'm thinking maybe with this homework and all those videos to watch, that maybe we should defer the slow frog to the following week. Here's what I'd like you to do. I would like you to give that a try. If it turns out to be too much and we just can't get there, then we'll defer the frog lessons to the second week. I actually think we should probably just do that. I think there's enough in here with trading in the pocket, a review of the materials, introducing yourself to everybody. I think that's going to be enough to do. So let me just say right now, we're going to move the discussion on the slow frog and the quick frog to next week. I don't want you doing that this week. That's just too much. I got to remember to take an appetite suppressant pill periodically. All right, so what I want to do is look at the messaging, the write boards, and the files on Basecamp for those of you that have not seen it before. So this is Basecamp, and when you log in, you should get to a dashboard. And when you get on the dashboard, you will see that over on the right-hand side, you may have multiple projects associated. I use Basecamp for a lot of things. I use it for coaching Kieran, Tim, Catherine, and Kim's group, for doing some research. I do my my doctoral research work with this organization here. We organize our live trading workshops as individual projects here for people that are attending. Next one is in June 18th and 19th, by the way, for the weekend. And then 20 through 23 for the 4 days of live trading. It's going to be a good time. And I use this for transferring large files and whatnot. So you may, depending on who you are, you may have more than one project associated. But the one that we're working on is this one on the right-hand side, Daytrading Online Workshop. And so when you log in, what you should see is I have multiple projects on here, but the last 5 things that happened on the Daytrading Online Workshop during the break was I just uploaded a bunch of files in the file section. So that has all the things that were done today. I did some work in the swing trading. I did some work with Kieran's coaching group, and so on and so forth. So you can see who did what recently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Daytrading Online Workshop. I can either click this link here or I can click this link over here. So let me just click one. And now we're into the day trading online workshop, as you can see at the top. So the day trading online workshop up here. And then these are the things we did today. I just uploaded some files that explains the RLCO framework, my own personal learning journal, a video presentation on the frog. I'm sorry, a PowerPoint presentation on the frog. This was a paper that was presented at one of our research weekends that analyzed about 800 trades of Matt Blankenship's work on the quick frog, and it's very convincing, a very nice piece of work. Then here are the three systems definitions for leapfrog, quick frog, and slow frog, and then I made some changes in the workboard. So this overview gives you an insight into what's been done most recently, and then who all the people are and have they logged in and so forth. So the first thing I'm going to do is go look at messages. And so in messages, here's one from Catherine to all of us. She just said, hey guys, here's a bunch of references that she posted in the file section for us. And then she's organized these groups. What we in our study groups, you can post a new, when you click post a new message in your category, you can select like partner conversations, and it'll show up as a threaded by study groups, or it might be something where it's a discussion on a homework that's been shared or homework assigned. So posting messages is a way that you can just do organized information. So I just want to come down and see what Larry, Mo, and Curly have done. Yeah. So what those are just placeholders. We're gonna edit that message so that we can get the groups aligned, so that you have a one threaded message for you to do all your focused discussions on. So that's really messages. It's straightforward. You can also attach a file to the comments, and you can do the threaded piece here. The next one is in to-dos. Now, I don't use that one. You can, if you feel like you want to put that, you can put notes to yourself to do, along with a suspense list in there. If you want to use Basecamp for project management, you certainly can do that. I'm not doing it for this project, but I have done that in the past. It's pretty handy. Let me skip over write boards. That's going to be where a bulk of the work gets done. You can do a live chat in the Basecamp environment, but my preference is that we do our chats inside Campfire. It's just more robust. It's easier to see it in there, and it's archived and searchable. And since that's where I monitor that every day, it's probably easier to do live chats there. Although if you and your accountability partner want to do a live chat here, you certainly can. And also, if you're interested in using GoToWebinar for your own study group, if you want to use that for your own session, just send me an email. I'll get it to Devin Bresser, who can organize that for you. And so you have access to use GoToWebinar during the course if you find that to be a handy way to do your study groups. I know, like some of the guys in Kieran's coaching group, they do a weekly phone call using GoToWebinar. So I'm happy. I have an unlimited account with those guys. So please don't hesitate to use it if you'd like. In the file section, I'm just going to, well, the time tab we're not going to use. That's if you were trying to link up billable time in this project. We're not going to do that. In the file section, we have a lot of room to store things. So I've uploaded the IP info paper number 6, that is the RLCO framework, my own learning journal, the frog file, the presentation I'm going to use, the frog system analysis on Matt Blankenship's results, the systems definitions for the leapfrog, quick frog, and slow frog. Now, I got to tell you, this is worth the price of the workshop right here. And you guys need to praise Catherine Crusoe with great praise. She put together about 35 megs of individual online day trading lessons. I'm going to show you that in a minute, that have activities, video links, exercises, graphics. It's about a 350-page workbook she put together for you that has about 70 different lessons. If I tried to do each and every one of those lessons during these 10 weeks, you know, the head would explode. But she's got them very well organized by system, self, and markets, and it connects to all the important work that we do, the many lessons. And so it's an encyclopedia of lessons and exercises for you to use. And I want you to feel free to ask questions at any time, even after the course is over. If you just find yourself going through it and you're studying it and you got a question, just sound off and we'll get it answered. So that is an amazing resource. The Learning Journal Blank is that 4-column learning journal for you to use. My info paper on how I classify the markets, which guides some of our strategies. Yeah, download. You would download that file. That's one you would download and work on it at home. It's a regular Word document. My approach to swing trading, so that you can see how it connects in later lessons. We'll look at that when we see how swing trading connects to day trading. Here's a couple blank worksheets that Charles built for us. The trade log and the blank trade log graphics. He's got that mastered. This is another piece of great work from Catherine. Again, more praise. She has assembled our glossary. So there's about 40 pages of terms and concepts and flashcards and explanations of what we mean by the river, by the frog, all that. That glossary is one that I would recommend you download and print and put it in a notebook, 3-ring binder. These two here, the 100 essays on trading and another 100 essays, I think it's like 55. But there's about 150 one-page essays that talk about different aspects of trading as it has emerged from our almost 10 years in the chat room. You know, we've just developed insights from trading and ideas, and this is sort of the catch-all answers to frequently asked questions or many lessons. Part of the process I went through with Dr. Tharp was documenting all my beliefs, and it took the form of making sketches and writing one-page, not to exceed one-page essays on what that idea was, as a way to get all those ideas out of my head and onto paper so I could explore them. And so these are in the form of ebooks. So you might want to just glance through those and decide if you want to print them or not. Up to you. I think it's a lot of good work, and there are a lot of good ideas. And the titles, again, are grouped by system, self, and market, and so you can readily see what's going on in there. I'm going to try to download that one in the background. So that's what the files section looks like. So now let me come back to the write boards. And first of all, any questions on messages or files so far? Shouldn't be. It's pretty straightforward. So a write board is just their 37 signals runs this site. That's their name for a collaborative whiteboard. It allows us to share a common workspace, and it saves, it archives previous versions of things, so we can always go back and recreate or something. And so I'll just go through the titles. The agenda items for the weekly webinar is where, as you generate questions that you'd like to hear me address, post them onto that one. So if you had an idea, hey Ken, I want you to talk about the frog, you would click on this. That write board would open. You would edit, you would go down to the bottom of this thing, insert new question here. You would save as the newest version. And now we've got that is now added into that. So I'll clean this up and label these by date so that you can put your questions added to the right board. So you just hit edit page, make your entry, save it, and then you're good to go. So that's the agenda. Announcements. If I have something that I want to send out to everybody and make sure you see it, I will put it on the announcements board, and then I can notify everybody by email. So if there's something I want to put out, I can do that. And like I use this one to announce when the webinar was today, what the link was, and so forth. The homework videos by lesson, this is crucial. All right, so what I'm going to do is on this page, once I'm going to finish recording, or when this session is over, I've been recording this webinar, I'm going to edit out that silent 8 minutes in the middle, and I'm going to save that and upload it to YouTube on an unlisted link. And then I'm going to paste that link and put it in here, so you'll be able to replay this if you need it, or if you weren't here and you need to listen to it, you can click that link. And then these are all the links to each of the videos that I've asked you to review by the 10th of April, okay? And then so on. These are all the other videos that I've already got lined up in the queue for you based on what the topic is for each one of those weeks. Okay, so on April 17th, by April 17th, I need you to have watched those videos. By April 24th, these on the RLCO. By May 1st, a chance to review the trading in the pocket ones and so forth. So that's the lineup of different videos for you to watch. And if there's something I record during the course, and I will just go to this page and add it, and then I will alert you by email or by message that there's a new video to watch. And then I've got some placeholders down here for week 9 and week 10 based on the questions that may develop or how things go or your specific questions. We'll do something down there. Okay. So that's the homework videos by lesson right board. Participant introductions and contact info. This is where you practice your right board proficiency. I would like you to do a short introduction answering those 6 questions. And you can see we've got some folks who have already done that. Let's just go ahead and get your stuff posted. And that's how you learn about who your accountability partners are. Straightforward. And again, if you have any trouble with any of this stuff, just shoot me an email. You can also shoot it to Charles Howard. He's on that list. He's helping me with the administration of this. Schedule of weekend webinars and the registration link. This is just the placeholder for this registration link right here to sign up for each of the weekly webinars. If I change any of those schedules, it allows me to send you all an update by email to that effect. But my plan is to go on Sundays around this time. Now, here's what I'm willing to do. If you Aussies decide that you want to work together in a study group, I think I've got you grouped that way. But if there's a set of specific questions for your group and you would like to have a morning session or a different time, then just get a hold of me and I can do one separate for you. And I will make that link available, the recording available to everybody else. But that way you can do a couple live sessions with me at a time that's more convenient. And Yolanda and Jacek, the same thing for the folks in Europe. I know Jeff and Sanal and Jacek are not on, but they will be. So Yolanda, that gives us a chance to do a European session, and Danny too, that is better suited towards your time schedule. Study groups, that just lists who we are and what groups we're in. And I asked you this week to just make contact with each other confirm that your time zones are good and that you can work together. The weekly homework assignments. This is where I'm going to maintain that log of things to do. Now, it may very well be that something comes up during the week in the chat room that I find is a very instructive, practical exercise related to the topic that we're working on. So if I end up doing a quiz or a practical exercise, I may record it, and then I'll send you an email with the instructions, and I'll just add it to the homework assignment review here so that we always have the most current list of what each week's workload is. And then finally, Catherine did a very nice job here, where to post things and where to find things. This is just sort of a guide about using Basecamp, like an FAQ, and find this to be helpful. All right, so those are the right boards, and that's where most of the dynamic information gets maintained. You use the messages to work with your study partners. As I record videos, I will get them posted to this homework videos by lesson whiteboard. And if I give PE, practical exercises or additional assignments, I'll get them posted in here. And this agenda items is where you put your questions for me to discuss. And that's how I will be able to collect it and shape each weekly discussion. Let's see, messages to do. We're coming up on about, let's see, we're about an hour and 20. I wanted to stop at 10 to respect your evening, and 90 minutes is a pretty good session. So what I want to do is just preview coming attractions. I just want to share this one with you. This was a nice piece of work that Gil put together. Now, let me tell you about Gil. He just retired, sold his veterinary business, and is looking to trade full-time, and he's doing some great work. He has always been a very discretionary trader and has discipline and systematic goals. He wants to become more disciplined and systematic. And so one of the things that he's been doing is trading this hybrid frog and some of the RLCO patterns. And he was having difficulty with his exits about making the trade-off between when to move it up, when to hold it back, how far to move it up, when to cash it all in. And so I simply asked him to take a look at the PSAR technical indicator that we have, parabolic stop and reverse, on our common operating platform. I have a couple videos that shows you how to set those up, by the way, for next week. But the PSAR is on the RLCO framework. And I said, just take a look at that one as a way to automatically do your exits, and run the same set of trades, but using the mechanical PSAR exit instead of your discretion, and then just compare them and see what you get. So he put together this study and did it over the course of 2 weeks. And so these were his reasons why he wanted to study. Straightforward. He really wanted to answer this question: is his discretion helping or harming his results as compared to the PSAR robo trade? So he put together a set of rules to guide his robot, his PSAR exit. This was the specific set of rules that he used. I'm not going to cover that in great detail now. We can do that in the chat room and when you look at those trading videos. But he put together a set of rules of pseudocode so that he could faithfully and systematically apply the PSAR exit. And this was the bottom line on his results. Let me zoom this up so you can see. All right, so let me, if I can, there we go. So with his discretion, and this was over the course of, I think, about 3 weeks. So in 3 weeks, he had, in his discretionary system, 181 trades. His best R multiple, these are intraday, by the way, 6.83 R on his biggest win, minus 2.87 on his biggest loss. I'm going to beat him up about that. He had 106 winning trades, so a 59% win rate. He had 7 scratches, or 4%, in which it zeroed out. And he had 68 losses, which represented 38% of the population. So when you discount the scratches, 59 to 38 is exactly 3-2. So in every 5, he wins 3 out of 5 trades, loses 2. And then his average win was 0.64 R, and his average loss was minus 0.57. So he has a 3-2 victory, and it pays off more than it loses. So the difference between them pays for all the commissions. So this is one where he's got a 60% win rate. Very nice. Now what he did was he examined that same set of trades using the PSAR, and he found that there were some trades that he stayed in longer, so he didn't have as many re-entries. That's why the total number of trades actually was 40 trades fewer. Excuse me. His best win was still 6.83. His biggest loss was still minus 2.87. His wins were 85, so that stayed at 59%. His scratches were 4 for 3%. His losses were 54, 38%. So that is still a 3-2. But now I want you to look at his average win is now 0.79 instead of 0.64. So he increased that by 0.15, which represents a 25% increase in the size of his average win, simply by letting the robot do the trade. And then his average loss went from minus 0.57 down to minus 0.47, which is a 20% improvement on the size of his average loss. That is a very significant number, both of those, because now his SQN goes from 2.36 to 3.4. And his expectancy goes from 0.16 to 0.29. He almost doubles his expectancy, and now an expectancy of 30 cents on the dollar with a win rate of 3-2. I will tell you, with his average win is almost 0.8, and his average loss is almost minus 0.5. With a win rate of 3-2 and a payoff rate of 8-5, that's almost 2-1. You can make a very nice living on this. And with 143 trades in 3 weeks, that's 50 trades a week. That's 10 trades a day, which is very manageable for a day trader. That should really get your attention on why you want to pay attention to the hybrid frog and the OWL script and the PSAR as a way to systematically exit, because it's a mechanical exit. So these are the equity curves of his study. On the left-hand side, you notice there are some moments of significant volatility, whereas I don't know anybody that doesn't want that equity curve. That's something we can live with. That's why I gave you those 5 trading videos on day 1, actually day 0. I really want you to take a look at those and start grappling with the ideas. I think they're pretty straightforward. But then I would, because I wrote them. So again, that's just it just sums it up. Now the discussion points, and this is from a guy that is adding systemization and discipline to his trading practice for the first time in 30 years. So this, I might say he's an old dog, but he is retired. He's almost as old as me. We may be the same age. I don't know. So yes, us old dogs can learn new tricks. So he gets improvements in expectancy, total return, and SQN. The size of his cumulative R and his average win size improves. He has fewer trades, less commissions, smoother equity curve, and more professional trades, but there's more. On a personal level, he discovered just how beautiful simplicity is. All those trades became a lot easier to manage, much more relaxed, much less mental fatigue, fewer decisions, less stress, less chance of errors. He was able to increase his span of control, so now instead of just having a single target, he can actually trade several targets, and then each one of those trades is easier to manage and has a better payoff than what he was doing. And let me tell you, what he was doing before was sustainable. It was a 0.16 expectancy, but he's doubled that, and his life is a lot easier, and he can actually get more opportunities now that his span of control. And he's using just the mental model of, hey, let your men do the work. Let the computer tap in those little spots on the PSAR and let them suggest where your exits need to be. Very powerful effects on psychology. So now that he's optimized the exit for his own psychology, I've now got him working on improving the entry. So his takeaways, is it perfect every time? No, but it's very consistent, dramatically improves the results, very good for trending trades, and he's learning to trust the math. So he's continuing to take this into the next round of research and development, but I'm very proud of his work on that. That discussion he and I had in the coaching video from this morning that I posted, that's one that's 2.5 hours long, which I invite you to listen to at your leisure. That's the one if you go to homework videos by lesson, and you come down to this one, the coaching session for Team Kieran. It's 2.5 hours, but full of day trading gold about the psychology of implementation. That's the one where Gil and I talk about the importance of him doing that work and discovering those ideas on his own. That's why you do individual, independent research, so that you have skin in the game, so that you can be persuasive to your own self. If I just did the work and handed it to you, you could discount it. If you do the work yourself, and Lisa will attest to this also, I'm going to ask her to comment on this later in future lessons, but the positive effect she got from doing the research herself allowed her to start trusting her own judgment more. And I think Alex would say the same thing as a result of the work he did on trading as a skill-based activity. There's no substitute for doing the work. There are no shortcuts. Even if you think you can get away with something that's a shortcut, the market is designed to find all your stuff. Wherever you have hidden it, whatever shortcuts you've taken, the market is designed by nature to find and exploit and to test those shortcuts, those weaknesses. And it's a matter of time. So there are no shortcuts. There's only hard work and risk-managed trading and documenting your results and your beliefs and developing the craft. That's what I want to say about shortcuts and doing the work. You've got to do the work. There's reasons to do the work that we've laid out. I think we've got evidence that shows that it works. So I encourage you to have that kind of mindset as we go forward. So the last thing I want to cover today is just some of this beautiful work by Catherine, just so you realize from day one what kind of an amazing resource she has put together. So the online trading workshop, this is about version 0.8. So she's identified a bunch of self lessons, lessons 1 through 17. Section 2, the market in trading, the system in trading, strategies, techniques, all the way down here to 58, reporting. So there's like 58 lessons. Ideas about the self. You'll hear me talk about these things at various times. So there's just some amazing work. Like this is one, a holistic view of trading. And this comes from a sketch I did for I was explaining my views on holistic trading about day trading. I had this idea almost like a dashboard that really our trading plan is a subset of our business plan, which is a subset of our life plan. And those plans are designed to help us survive and thrive, even as the market is changing and we're observing what the market is doing. We're doing some tactical day trading, some shorter-term operational swing trading, and then some longer-term strategic monthly asset allocation. All of this is integrated into a meta system where we are providing judgment to decide how much to do of each one, that we inherit our own psychology, which influences this system, that we should be using feedback, we should be learning from it, we should be doing research and development to develop our knowledge. We have resources and motivations sponsored by our values, and then all of that stuff should be enlisted as a way to generate results that help us achieve our goals. Well, I have an extended video on this one that I've done and that Patrick has done. And so she's put the links in there. So if you want to hear more about that, you can. Well, she's done that for all 58 of those lessons. And many of those, I don't think we're going to be able to get to all of them, even in our 10-week course. We've just got so much to do. But all these lessons are worth scanning. And this may be the thing where, out on week 9 and week 10, after you've had a chance to digest things and maybe look at the essays or look at the lessons in this workbook, if there's something that you'd like me to do on week 9 or 10 and there's enough interest, then maybe I could do some more of these things. And in addition, these are additional lessons that are already available to you, like the regression line fractal framework. I'm hoping she has this one on 185. We just zip down to 185. I saw in the question list, Patrick gave me a question about the RLFF. Whoops. Yeah, so lesson 37, Patrick, the regression line fractal framework. This describes the indicators, how we look about it, how we think about it. And here's a 25-minute video that answers your question. It's clickable. So this gives you insights into the RLFF. We'll get to that around probably week 6. So this reference, thanks to Catherine, is just an amazing tool. I wish I had the energy to do it. And so bless her for doing this for us. She's a real saint. So I would print that one off, and as we start going through these lessons over the next couple weeks, maybe there's something in there that gives you some insights that you'd like to explore. Lesson 26 and 27, 25, 26, and 27. That's probably something you could even look at this week because of we're doing the frog. So there we are. All right, it's now 10:10. We're 10 minutes over. I want to open it up to you. Last chance for questions before we get going. Let you get some sleep and get on with the rest of the day for those of you in Europe. I will have this recorded and posted in YouTube at an unlisted link. I'm going to place that on this homework videos by lesson right board. It'll be this link that says session 1. That's going to become activated, and it'll link to the YouTube video of this presentation if you feel like you need to see it again. or to see it again for the first time if you are were not able to attend. So shout out to all you guys. Okay, I don't see any questions in there. Take good care of yourselves. I'm really looking forward to this. I appreciate your trust and confidence in me. I'm going to do everything I can to make this a successful course for you and to answer your videos, or to answer your questions and help you meet your educational outcomes. Yeah, Danny, I think yeah, you may have already watched that video already in the swing trade course. How to get stocks in there. Oh, how to get stocks into the Forex tester too. I'm going to ask you to contact Alex directly on that one. He uses it. I haven't figured out how to do it yet. I know he knows how to do it, and I think he's got a short paper on how to do it. So I'm going to ask you to yeah, I'm getting a little bit better. Still a little hoarse, but I think I turned the corner this morning. I just took a lot of meds, and I sat in the sweat lodge down in the basement there in the got one of those infrared spas, so I was in there for an hour just baking it out, and then in the hot tub, so that seemed to have helped. If there's no other questions, then I'm going to stop this recording here. And his email, Danny, is in the right board for the on the right board for introductions. Alex, if you just send me the link, did you have that on a YouTube video?